12 ways to make her regret losing you without saying a word. So she walked away, and now you're left feeling broken, confused, and powerless. But what if I told you that this pain you're feeling can be flipped into power? That you have everything you need to not only bounce back, but make her rethink every decision that led her to leave? Today, I'm giving you a game plan, a step-by-step guide to turn this heartbreak into your greatest transformation. Not only will she regret losing you, but she'll wish she never took you for granted. And the best part? You might come out on the other side realizing you never needed her at all. Let's dive in. 1. Cut all contact. Go cold turkey. The first and most powerful move you can make after a breakup is going completely silent. It may feel counterintuitive, especially if you're hurting, but cutting off all contact is essential for regaining your power and composure. No calls, no texts, no checking her stories on Instagram. Nothing. The more you try to stay in touch, the more you show her that you're still emotionally dependent, and that gives her all the control. By choosing silence, you send a bold message. I respect myself enough to walk away. And that silence, it speaks volumes. While you're giving her nothing, her mind will fill in the blanks. She'll wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and most importantly, why you're not chasing her like she expected. The truth is, the more you cling, the further she pulls away. But the moment you stop chasing, she starts feeling your absence. Delete her number if you have to. Block her if necessary. Remove any reminders, photos, chats, gifts. These are emotional landmines that'll keep you stuck. Instead, pour your time into growth and new experiences. This isn't about playing games, it's about reclaiming your peace. You're showing her and yourself that your happiness doesn't hinge on another person. Silence is strength. And when you disappear from her radar, that's when she'll truly begin to question her decision. 2. Don't beg or plead. It's unattractive. After a breakup, it's natural to feel desperate, especially if you didn't want things to end. The instinct to beg or plead can feel overwhelming. You want to show her how much she means to you, how sorry you are, or how you'll change. But the truth is, begging doesn't fix anything. In fact, it often makes things worse. When you plead for another chance, you're putting yourself in a position of weakness. You may think you're showing love or vulnerability, but what she sees is someone who's lost control, someone who lacks self-respect. Attraction doesn't grow in desperation, it dies there. Begging tells her you don't believe you're valuable without her, and that kills the mystery and strength she was once drawn to. Think about it. Would you want someone to come back to you out of pity or guilt? Or do you want someone to choose you out of genuine desire and love? If you lower yourself by pleading, you're not giving her a chance to miss you or reflect on what she lost. Instead, you're confirming her decision to leave. The strongest thing you can do is hold your ground. Accept the breakup with calmness and dignity. It may hurt, but walking away with confidence sends a clear message. You're not dependent on her for your self-worth. That kind of composure is rare and powerful, and ironically, it can make her start rethinking everything. 3. Don't try to convince her to come back. One of the most common mistakes after a breakup is trying to argue your way back into her life. You might be tempted to remind her of all the good times, promise to change, or explain why breaking up was a mistake. But trying to convince her rarely works, and here's why. Attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. If someone has decided to leave, it's because on some level, they've lost that emotional connection. No amount of reasoning or persuasion can reignite that spark. In fact, when you try to convince her, you're usually coming from a place of fear, not confidence. You're trying to control her feelings instead of accepting them, and that energy can feel suffocating. Instead of trying to talk her into loving you again, focus on what you can control: your own growth, mindset, and emotional stability. When she sees you're not chasing or pressuring her, she'll have the space to reflect. And if she does come back, it should be because she genuinely misses you, not because she was guilt-tripped or reasoned into it. People aren't persuaded back into love. They feel their way back or they don't. Give her space to feel. Show that you're capable of standing tall even in pain. That kind of strength leaves an impression that words never could. 4. Don't constantly call or text her. Right after a breakup, the urge to reach out is intense. You want to stay connected, keep the door open, or simply hear her voice. But texting or calling constantly does the opposite of what you hope. It pushes her further away. Excessive contact after a breakup screams desperation. It shows you're not giving her the time or space she needs to process things. She might start to feel overwhelmed, annoyed, or even smothered. When someone feels crowded, their natural instinct is to retreat even more. Silence, on the other hand, is powerful. It gives both of you room to breathe. It gives her a chance to miss you, to wonder what you're up to, and to start questioning if she made the right decision. Constant messaging kills that curiosity. You're essentially reminding her every day that she made the right call by leaving. Also, chasing her via text or calls keeps you stuck in emotional limbo. It prevents you from healing, reflecting, and regaining your confidence. Every unanswered text or cold reply can feel like a fresh rejection. So, pull back. If she wants to talk, let her initiate. In the meantime, focus on regaining your center. You'll feel stronger and she'll notice the shift. That quiet confidence speaks louder than any message ever could. 5. Don't try to be just friends. Trying to stay friends with your ex right after a breakup is one of the trickiest traps. It might feel like a way to stay close, hold on to the connection, or eventually win her back. But more often than not, agreeing to be just friends is a slow emotional bleed that delays your healing. If your romantic feelings are still alive, friendship won't feel like friendship. It'll feel like rejection on repeat. Every time she talks about moving on or acts indifferent, it'll hurt. And if she starts dating someone else, that pain will double. You'll find yourself stuck in the friend zone, hoping for something more, while she's moved on. Also, from her perspective, if you're willing to be just friends while harboring feelings, it can come across as weak or needy. She may enjoy the emotional support or attention, but she'll also know you haven't truly let go. That doesn't spark attraction, it reinforces the breakup. True friendship can only exist when both people have healed and moved on. Until then, it's best to cut contact and focus on rebuilding your identity without her. Show her you're capable of standing on your own. That's when she'll begin to question whether letting you go was the right choice. Don't settle for crumbs when what you want is the whole meal. Walk away with dignity and give her the chance to see your worth from a distance. 6. Don't stalk her on social media. In today's world, it's incredibly easy to keep tabs on your ex through social media. You can see what she's doing, where she's going, and even who she's hanging out with. But checking her profiles constantly is a mental trap. It keeps you emotionally tied to someone who's already walked away. Every story she posts or photo she uploads becomes a trigger. You'll overanalyze everything. Is she happy without me? Who's that guy in the background? Why hasn't she messaged me if she looks sad? This behavior only fuels your anxiety and prevents you from moving on. Worse, if she notices you're watching all her stories or liking her posts, it signals you're still hooked. You lose your mystery. She knows you're watching, and that gives her power, not the kind that builds attraction, but the kind that keeps you in a one-sided emotional loop. The smart move? Unfollow or mute her, not out of anger but out of self-respect. Give yourself the mental space to heal without constant reminders. When you stop obsessing over what she's doing, you'll find more energy to focus on what you're doing, your growth, your goals, your happiness. Healing begins with boundaries. Detach from her digital world so you can start creating your own again. 7. Don't show up at her place uninvited. It might seem like a romantic gesture, showing up at her house to talk things out, or remind her how much you care. But in reality, it often comes across as invasive, desperate, or even borderline disrespectful of her space and boundaries. After a breakup, emotions are raw. She may need time to think, breathe, or process what happened. Dropping by uninvited interrupts that process and puts pressure on her to respond when she may not be ready. It can feel like emotional ambush, emotional Even if your intentions are pure, showing up unannounced sends the message that you're not respecting her decision or her space. That's not attractive, it's unsettling. And instead of making her reconsider, it could reinforce her choice to end things. If she wants to talk, she'll reach out. If not, your job is to maintain your composure and focus on your own growth. Unexpected visits don't communicate strength. They reveal a lack of emotional control. And control over your emotions, your life, your reactions is exactly what you need to regain her respect, if not her affection. Respect her space. Protect your dignity. That's the real power move. 8. Don't beg for another chance. After a breakup, the temptation to beg for another chance can feel overwhelming. The heart wants what it wants, and sometimes you just want to plead with her to reconsider. But begging for another chance is a move that rarely ever works in your favor. Instead of making her want you more, it can make you seem insecure, desperate, or lacking in self-respect. When you beg, you're putting all the power in her hands. It shows you're not confident enough to move on, and that you'll settle for any scrap of attention she's willing to throw your way. No one wants to be with someone who doesn't have enough self-worth to walk away with dignity. Attraction thrives on strength and independence. If she sees you begging, she'll start to question whether she really wants to be with someone who can't stand on their own. You're essentially telling her you're willing to accept crumbs, which isn't an attractive trait. Instead of begging, focus on healing and rediscovering your own worth. By doing so, you show her that you can live without her, and your life isn't on pause because of the breakup. This self-respect is magnetic. It's far more powerful than pleading. It shows that if she wants you back, she'll have to earn it. 9. Don't try to make her jealous. Making your ex jealous may feel like a way to get back at her or get a reaction, but this strategy rarely works as planned. While you may think that seeing you with someone else will make her realize what she's lost, it often has the opposite effect. It can make her resent you, question your maturity, or see you as someone who is emotionally immature. When you try to make someone jealous, you're coming from a place of insecurity. You're trying to manipulate their feelings rather than allowing them to come back to you naturally, based on real connection and genuine attraction. If she sees you with someone else, she might not feel the urge to rekindle things, but instead feel even more detached, especially if she has already moved on. Additionally, it may cause her to feel like she's being played or disrespected. Relationships thrive on honesty, trust, and vulnerability. Trying to get her jealous only disrupts those values and reinforces the idea that you're not emotionally stable. If you want her back, focus on building your own life and letting her see your personal growth. Don't use other people to create drama. You can't force someone to feel jealousy. Instead, focus on making yourself the best version of you. The more you grow and improve, the more likely it is that she'll start to wonder what she's lost. 10. Don't hold on to hope for her to change her mind. It's easy to hold on to the idea that your ex might change her mind. Maybe she'll come to her senses, realize the mistake she made, and return. But clinging to this hope only keeps you stuck in the past. While it's possible she may change her mind eventually, waiting around for that day to come can prevent you from fully moving on and healing. The truth is, if she's made up her mind about the breakup, you can't force her to change it. Holding on to that hope means you're living for something that may never happen, rather than focusing on creating the life you want for yourself. Hope can be a beautiful thing, but in this context it can keep you from finding closure. By constantly holding on to the possibility of reconciliation, you're putting your happiness and healing on hold. It's important to accept that sometimes things end for a reason, and that reason may be for your own growth, happiness, and future happiness with someone else. Letting go of hope doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing to move forward. When you start focusing on your own growth and happiness, you open the door to new possibilities, whether that's healing from the past or meeting someone who aligns with your life. 11. Don't compare yourself to her new partner. If she moves on to someone new after the breakup, it's natural to feel a sense of insecurity or jealousy. However, comparing yourself to her new partner will only harm your mental and emotional health. Every person is unique, and the relationship they have with your ex is not a reflection of your own worth. The more you compare yourself, the more you allow insecurity to creep into your thoughts, which prevents you from healing. First and foremost, remember that the end of your relationship does not diminish who you are as a person. Just because she's with someone new doesn't mean you weren't enough or that you are somehow inferior. Breakups happen for a variety of reasons, and her moving on doesn't define your value. Also, comparing yourself to someone else is unfair to both of you. You don't know the full details of their relationship, and even if you did, it doesn't change the fact that your worth is not determined by someone else's choices. What's more, if you allow yourself to constantly compare, you'll never find peace and closure. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. Instead, focus on your own path. Concentrate on improving yourself, building your self-esteem, and finding happiness in your own life. In the end, the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. 12. Don't rush the healing process. After a breakup, the healing process takes time. It's easy to want to skip over the pain, to push yourself into another relationship, or to immediately start moving on. But rushing through your healing will only delay it. Grief and recovery are natural processes, and you have to allow yourself the time and space to heal fully. Trying to rush your healing often means you're avoiding or suppressing the feelings that need to be processed. Instead of allowing yourself to grieve, you might dive into distractions or rebound relationships. This might give you a temporary sense of relief, but it doesn't allow you to grow from the breakup. Healing means facing your emotions and learning from them. One key to healing is self-compassion. Understand that it's okay to feel sad, angry, or frustrated. Give yourself permission to experience these emotions without judgment. The more you allow yourself to feel and process, the quicker you'll come out the other side with a deeper understanding of yourself. Remember, healing isn't linear. There will be good days and bad days, and that's normal. Be patient with yourself and don't rush the journey. Eventually, you'll emerge stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever comes next. Conclusion. The real win? It's you making her regret leaving isn't about manipulation or revenge. It's about growing into the best version of yourself and letting that speak for itself. And the crazy part? By the time you've completed this transformation, you may not even want her back. You'll have become someone stronger, wiser, and completely fulfilled, on your own terms. If this message hit home, consider subscribing and joining the community. We're all here to grow, elevate, and succeed together. Let's keep leveling up.